Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. My name is Andy and welcome to my sacred space. Today I'm going to be sharing a commonwealth of downloads as well as a reading. So we'll be doing tarot, oracle, all that jazz. It's not going to resonate with everyone. Use your discernment. Decide based on your body awareness and all the other faculties that you have empowered within you to receive messages on the internet. This message is for those that are in their early 30s to late 40s. There are some outliers that are of older age, all the way up to their 60s. And you guys are special for your own reason, right? This is for those that feel that you haven't quite found your stride in your purpose. Those of you that feel like you're overwhelmed by this sense of shame or this sense of fear because you don't know what you're here for and how to make it all come together. Those of you that have been struggling in life one way or another. And that leads me to my first aspect of this download. But before I get into that, blah. Before I get into that, please make sure you like, comment, do all the things that you do when you appreciate content. Subscribe, click the bell icon. Make it possible for me to reach as many people in the collective as possible. I'd also like to say that I know my content has been kind of all over the place. I'm coming back to my roots. I'm sharing messages that are based in sort of these analogy-based messages, these alchemical ascension-based downloads and messages. That's what I love to share. And for some reason I felt like there wasn't an audience for it. But I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. And I'm going to prove myself to be wrong. So let's go. Number 1. Blessed are those who suffer. Blessed are those who suffer. It's biblical, okay? So it goes biblical, but it's also spiritual. It goes all over the board when it comes to the East and the West, this understanding or this wisdom around suffering. Why it occurs, right? What we judge as negative karma or karma versus dharma. Right? And oftentimes dharma is on the back of very challenging experiences in life. The collective that I'm speaking to is a collective of individuals who have been reserved for something specific. You've been edified, you've been prepared, and there's a level of difficulty, right? If we're going to use the analogy of a video game, we're on like the extra hard level of the video game, okay? And because of that, we've watched all of these people that we've grown up with kind of zoom through in life and have these opportunities and do well for themselves, have children, and have all these things that we wish we had, regardless where you are in your life. For some of you guys, you have children. See, they be rushing. They're rushing. Let them rush. These are all the people in our lives that have kind of zoomed through and done the practical, right? But for some reason, we couldn't bring ourselves to do that. I'm speaking to individuals that weren't able to hold a job or that have found difficulty holding a job or remaining consistent. You might have gone to school for something and never found yourself working in that field. You might have found yourself distracted, having a child too early and having things fall apart, things happening in a way that is beyond your planning. Fallen into the trap of addiction, right? This is not an excuse for bad behavior, but I'm speaking to a specific collective. If you're finding yourself coming upon this video, receive this. You may be in resistance to it, but I mean, that's something to work on, right? There is a reason for it. You're being reserved for something bigger, and I'll get into that, okay? Some of you guys have children, like I was saying, and some of you guys are watching like your karmic shit play out in your kids. You're feeling powerless to a lot of things that are happening around you. You're feeling like, regardless how much you fight to find a level of stability in life, you can't seem to affect change in the way you desire. You feel like you're not finding your stride, okay? And so blessed are those who suffer. So if you've been suffering, you are fucking blessed. Myself included, right? This includes me, so I'm being very clear about that. This is a message that is for those that are cut from the same cloth as I. I met somebody recently, and this person is in their early 40s, right? And um, all of these messages I was getting for them were really reflecting back to myself. And this message that I was getting was how they were being reserved for something. And they judged themselves as being inconsistent. They judged themselves as being like a failure of a person, or a broken person who couldn't figure things out. And it couldn't be farther from the truth, right? And I think this spring, this time, is an opportunity. The next aspect of this download is the difference between the predatory snake and the snake that bathes in the light. They're both the same snake. They're just at different points in their process, right? And they're the same snake. They have the same root, right? And one becomes predatory while one bathes in the light, right? I mean, in order to be a snake, you got to eat, right? But the difference comes through time. The snake doesn't choose that it's ready to shed its skin, so it just sheds its skin. It happens through the alignments, through the passing of time. We've gone through all of these astrological alignments, all of these retrogrades, all of these seasons, right? And time is the only thing that can edify this. The collective that I'm speaking to, you are edified through time, not through action. So wherever it is that you, not just through action, so wherever it is that you think that you're a failure because you didn't pick the right things, you're wrong. It doesn't matter what you would have picked, everything would have fallen apart. You would have always ended up here. Why? Because your soul came from the depths of the darkness. You came from the darkest place. That doesn't mean you had the worst upbringing. That doesn't mean you had the worst trauma. We're not even judging it in that way. What I mean by that is you came from your light that came into this life, submerged into the deepest depths of the darkness. And so your journey from distortion and darkness to coherence and light is one that will take time. When we're divers and we're diving to very low depths, very deep depths, we can't just willy-nilly swim our way up to the surface. We will get bubbles in our brain and our spinal column. We will essentially die, right? So there's a slow rise to the light, and there's a rise that is fortified for the time we are living in, okay? So consider the world around us and this upside-down ass world, this world and this collective that is driven so unconsciously, and it's very much so in crisis. In order for us to be of service and to serve in a way to serve humanity, serve the world, serve God, we need to be edified in a way that's unshakable. We need to be ready for the challenges that this time brings. And so thus we're kind of held aside and trained individually, going through our own individual mystery schools of life through the internet, through the people that we meet, through the law of attraction, right? We are naturally being fed and moving through this process. Many years ago, I experienced this moment where I felt the full nurturing energy of the feminine come to me. I felt the mother God come to me, and I felt her love all around me, and my heart started to pump. My heart started to beat like crazy. I started to feel fear, and I felt a major resistance to her. And time went by, and she came back, and she'd come back, and she'd come back, and each time I had less and less resistance, just to give me a marker and show me how far I've come, right? The ability for us to walk unshakably in the light takes time. And it also requires that we not be seen, that we not be obvious. So you may have been getting messages that you have a very important job to do here, right? And you've been truly doing your best. You've been honest. You've been humble, right? You've been truly like navigating this life, feeling you've made mistakes, sure, but you've been navigating in a way that really honored your growth, really honored the potential of who you be, and still feeling like it's not going anywhere, right? This message is for you. Deeper love of God and creation, a fire to serve the Most High. Judgment are the self-discovered moments that shatter all distorted programs. Stepping out of the small self and into the larger picture. I don't know if you've ever tried any kind of sort of like consciousness expanding drugs, if you've done ayahuasca or if you've done shrooms or whatever, but you may be able to resonate with this if you have, or maybe even if you haven't. But there's this kind of feeling of stepping out of the small self and out of the mind, stepping out of the limited perception of who your small self is, and receiving the full definition of life and what it means to be alive. And that judgment, if you look at the judgment card, stepping out of that coffin, right? Living as dead, being the living dead, and stepping into the light naked, and your body touching the air, and the sun coming down on you, that horn, that call that awakens you and pulls you out of your slumber, right? To be awakened. It's the moments that shatter all distortion. Don't forget those moments, because Spirit is saying everyone who is here has had those moments in some way, right? And those moments are moments that satiate you while you are patiently waiting your rendezvous moment. And it's coming quite soon. Spirit is saying this spring is going to be a big time for this collective, and that's why this message is so important. So when I did mushrooms the first time, I overdid my dosage. And in that, I experienced a kind of vulnerability that was jarring. And I felt this shake come through me, right? And so my body started to shake and started to convulse. It was a very bizarre experience because I felt God speaking through me. And I also felt myself as like this rabbit that was being constricted by the snake. And I also felt myself being the snake that was constricting the rabbit, right? It was like how the different aspects of my soul, or different parts of my soul, were at war with each other. As within, so without, the wars that we're experiencing in this world, right? The war between coherence and distortion. The war between control and domination versus liberation, freedom, and sovereignty, right? These, I guess, different hands that were, battling each other, right? And so the image that I keep seeing for this reading is a rabbit and a snake. The rabbit, right? Follow the white rabbit. Alice in Wonderland. Seeking truth through the distortions, right? Following the hidden, or not even the hidden, but the very obvious lead of the benevolent God in your life, the benevolent force of God light, and how that's guiding you to yourself, and this slow fortification process that will make you unshakable. This is about a rapid karmic release through suffering. So something that might take lifetimes, right now, due to the nature of this planet, due to the alchemical process that I'm not going to get into, but I'm just going to share, is rapidly moving you through what would be lifetimes of karma. And we're doing this because the more we can pack in to one life, the more power you yield when you're in your service. Okay, so your service is coming. Those of you that are watching, your service is coming. You're about to hit your stride. You're about to find your stride. You're about to feel like the ground that you stand on holds you up with pride. Your ascension. You were forged in the darkness, and your ascension to the light and coherence was a slow one. In order to prepare and edify you for the times you needed to be tucked away, and prepare you for these times you need to be tucked away and idle, learning through yourself what it means to be filthy. This is a channeled love letter to those who have judged themselves. A greater judgment is coming, and everyone will be placed where they belong. Judgment is also of an awareness, of a hierarchy that is not physical. This is about a coagulation, separation before unification, Okay, so there are many people in your lives right now, and this is, I'm not trying to stoke the fires of the ego, because there's a lot of that on YouTube, and I'm not judging that. But there's a lot of people in your lives, collective, that have judged you and see themselves as superior. When you hit your stride, and when you find yourself in your positions, it'll be a natural hierarchy that places you above them. Not because you're better, not because your soul is worth more than theirs, but because there's just a natural hierarchy. In this world right now, we don't like to have hierarchies. We've been burned by hierarchies. We've been burned by patriarchies. We've been even burned by matriarchies in the past. And we don't talk about that, right? In the far, far past. But now we're in this place where it's a self-discovered hierarchy where the divine places you, or where you land. Think about us all jumping out of a plane. Where we all land matters. And some of us are landing on higher ground. And there's a reason for that. And it'll be in view of everyone, right? God will serve you in front of all of your enemies, or God will serve you in front of all of those who've trespassed against you for that reason, for teaching, right? For them to see and to learn through observing and through seeing where you land and where you end up, right? There are people that are very happy. They call themselves loved ones, and God bless them, right? But they're very happy to see you lost, because there's a part of them that wants to feel like your message, what you share, lacks value, that you're missing something, that something's off in you, because they fear having to challenge themselves. And when you find yourself placed in placement, in your divine, authentic, organic placement, not something that you followed a huge crowd to find, something that you had to walk on your own in faith, knowing that you would find at some point, then they will have no choice but to look at their lives and question very seriously everything that you've ever shared. This is like a backlog. This is like passive income, is what I'm feeling. This is like, you may have been posting videos, and all the videos in your past are going to be like treasured and looked at, right, as the right time comes, right? People are going to be receiving so much of your gifts that they weren't able to receive before, that they tuck somewhere away in their closet because they thought it was nothing and they figured nobody else would want it. They just put it aside, right? They're going to be cherishing these gifts as they are challenged, right? Initiation is messy. And to bring coherence from distortion takes lifetimes within a life to be stabilized and unshaken. Faith is not fed by synchronicities and confirmations. Those are gifts offered because of the faith held. So the collective that I speak to is very much so like needing a lot of confirmation all the time, or feel like you need a lot of confirmation all the time because you're so insecure, which is not a read. It's not a judgment. It's just a fact. You're very insecure. Sometimes you find yourself following certain people, following certain teachings because you're insecure about what your natural connection is, what your own tree of knowledge communicates to you, what your own knowing and channeling tells you, right? And this transition is an appreciation of everything you've learned from who you've learned it from. However, the synchronicities don't feed faith. This has been a big message for me recently, where Spirit is saying faith is almost in spite of the synchronicities. Faith is almost in spite of life. It needs no fuel, right? Faith is a natural, derived, internal thing, right? It's something that we choose. It's not something that a synchronicity is going to give you. It's not something that a confirmation is going to give you. No reading in the world is going to give you faith, right? It's something you choose, right? Those who suffer are truly blessed, right? But also those who believe are truly blessed. And believing, right? And knowing, right? There's a lot of people out here that don't like the word believe, but believe is such a beautiful word to me. Because it means that even though you don't fully have a confident knowing of the thing, you're still holding space for it. You're still holding it. You're still holding it tight. You're still engaging with it in a way that allows its space to make itself real in your life, right? But you don't have any kind of indication that it's real. This is why there's so many people that have different backgrounds, so many different religions, so many different spiritual beliefs. No jab, all these different people that have all these different kind of backgrounds and belief systems that they share as concrete truths. And so you respect this person and that person, but they say very conflicting things. Why is that? Because where is the room for faith? If we had one messenger come down right now and deliver the message, right? And they're the only validated message, right? And everything they say is concrete. Where's the room for faith? If aliens came down and offered us all the answers to the universe, where is faith? Faith is the medicine. Faith is the fuel, and they're saying it's the threshold that allows God's entry into each and every person and body. Faith is God. Faith is love. Faith is a form of love, is what I'm hearing. But okay, let's get into this reading. I know that my sharing in this format has been a little bit bumpy, so thank you for sticking with me if you've stuck around this far. We're going to pull some tarot cards. We're going to see where else this reading will take us. I don't want to use this deck. Well, I'll use this deck first. Right now, I am using the Radiant Tarot. And Spirit is saying I'm going to need the book. I don't usually read from the book when it comes to the tarot cards, but this book is so detailed that why not? Why not? Holy Spirit, benevolent Mother and Father, God, grace me with the abilities, the confidence, and the grit to communicate the divine messages as needed. Thank you. Allow me to be a vehicle of your divine messages today. Archangel Michael, engulf us in your divine flame of protection. Archangel Raphael and Jovial, sit within my heart. Assist me to expand my heart 6 feet in all directions so that love may lead. And love may be the primary and leading intelligence today. Thank you. Archangel Gabriel, sit within my throat so that the perfect words can flow through me at the perfect time, falling upon the perfect ears. Allow this call to reach as many people as divinely guided and necessary and possible. Santa Clara and Archangel Metatron, sit within my mind. Keep my ego subdued and healthy, balanced. Any inflammation, help me bring that down. Assist me as I connect my crown to the high heavens and the highest heavens. We're so very grateful for this opportunity to connect. Let's go. Amen. Holy Spirit, what kind of expansions can you offer to this download? Thank you. They're saying spring is coming early, right? And it's kind of ironic, and it feels like they're laughing at it because it's like, it hasn't really been early. Like, many of us have been waiting a really long time. And even though we've been blessed along the way, it's not like it's just been a complete wasteland. This teasing nature, right? I joke around with people that I know and say, like, you know, Spirit has been getting us with this carrot, like putting this carrot ahead of us, and like we think we're about to get there, but the carrot never gets closer, right? In truth, it's coming early, like it's coming, and they're kind of, it's very humorous, I guess, to the guides and to the spirits that are with me, because they're very much like, bruh, like, spring is coming early, and it's like, it hasn't really been early, right? We've been waiting a very long time for this, right? This is like soul tribe. This is like finally the coagulation back to the unification is what they're showing me, okay? So it's like this separation, right? You've been separated from the material world as it is, the shallow paths, the paths that are most taken. You've been separated from those paths, taking a path on your own, and now you're finally ready through your edification process to join in with other soul tribe members in a way that is healthy, in a way that is unshaken, in a way that you're not going to be triggered into some distorted relational thing where you're able to see your flaws and be able to receive criticism, right? The Four of Wands is is the leading card in this energy. It's the leading energy here. This deck is so pretty. Home was our first universe. We carry it when we roam. Home is a box of memories, and memory houses our home. Oh my goodness. What? That's so beautiful. Against the dappled, sunlit sky, Four of Wands intersects, creating a double X. The four planted feet of the wands make a stable structure, like a table or a chair. The number 4 is symbolic of the 4 cornerstones of the house, a home. Okay. The wand also resembles a lattice to support the flowers nestled in their arms or blossoming from them. A wild and joyful banquet of morning glories that celebrate in yellow, purple, red, and pink. Somebody recently told me that there are 4 pillars to life. Your health, your spiritual awareness, okay, your relationships, and something else I can't remember. Okay, leave it in the comments if you're watching. You know who you are. Okay, this is feeling very much like that, right? Your health, your vitality, like there's 4 elements of your life that need to be stabilized and edified in an unshakable way, right? I'm not talking about a cheap IKEA table. Not that IKEA tables are cheap, right? But I'm not talking about a cheap IKEA table. I'm talking about a table that is fortified by the greatest craftsman, someone who is going to make a table that cannot be shaken or broken, where the legs are completely leveled out. That is exactly what God, the universe, has done with you, with us in the collective, to create us in a way that would make us available to house and hold the blessings that are to come. The 4 of Wands is a card of the home, built strongly. It is a place of refuge and gladness, success, deep roots, health, union, and reunion. If 1 suggests unity and 2 is duality, 3 is the dynamic relationship, and 4 is the stable table that won't tip over. Oh my God, you can't make that shit up. Okay. Oof. Okay, let's keep going. What else do we have, Spirit? The 10 of Swords. Yikes. Yeah, that's painful. This is like, recently when I pulled the 10 of Swords, I've been seeing a lot like this energy of constantly kind of going through similar pains. Also, those of you guys that judge yourself for having to learn a lesson 1,000,000 times before you finally get it, having to be burned literally 10 times over the course of your lifetime before you finally transform and get it. This is also about like a transformation that can't be avoided. This is about like a pain that you can't escape. No matter what drug you use, no matter what form of soothing you choose, you can't run from this. You can't get away from it. I mean, I kind of want to read every card now because, like, I think you guys would too if you guys had a book like this. Like, look at this. Just a way to expand on our knowledge. And also, like, it feels like Spirit is really validating a lot of messages that are coming through me by what's being written in this book or what's been written here. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Let's climb back, said Jill to Jack, and they filled the hill with laughter. On a moss-green field, under a mottled blue sky, a magpie lies on its back, claws in the air, bordered by 2 swords. 8 more swords hang overhead, blades crossed and threatening to fall. The magpie appears to be dead, or feigning death as the threatening swords loom above. There's this resistance that I'm feeling, and it's a mental resistance. So everything that this reading is trying to soothe is this energy of feeling like everything is about to fall apart. Like I'm about, like, they're saying this fear of like the world is going to end and World War III and blah blah blah, like all of this energy of like mental chatter and honestly distraction that is coming in to try and prevent you from this transformation. It's not necessarily real. Like I don't know a scenario where, 8 swords are going to be floating above you, just hovering, waiting to like cut you up. I just don't see that, right? So it gives me that indication, or that intuitive notion, that this is not real. This is something. There's this resistance that I'm feeling from the collective of like the shoe's gonna drop and everything's gonna fall apart, and I'm freaking out because I haven't found my stride. I haven't built up. I haven't saved up. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. I haven't created this. I haven't created that. I had all these ideas of what I would have done by now, and I feel like everything is out there is going crazy, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. They're saying this is more so prevalent in the younger aspects, or the younger, I guess, collective here. You have to understand that those that are born at this time have a great fear. They've been raised in an era where you're trained and taught that the world is going to be over soon, that global warming is just done, like that humans are just despicable beings that don't know how to take care of a planet. We have been taught and programmed that it's all going to come falling down. And so this fear program is something that's reaching you right now due to the fact that you are not stabilized in a false security like everyone else is. Because every kind of security right now is a false security. There's no guarantee what tomorrow will bring. The spirit is saying this is a distraction. It's not saying there's no truth to the worry or the fear. They're not saying that there's nothing that, they're not saying that isn't coming from a genuine place. What they're saying is that it's contrary to the Four of Wands. It's contrary to the fact that you're stabilized. A comet could come down from the sky and your table will not tip or fall. And so you're on your back, legs in the sky, looking up at all this, all the overwhelm. Your mind, right? The swords representing thought and the mind programs. I recently, like I told you guys, that I've been really confused about my content for the past couple months. I've been feeling like what I do, what I want to do, or what my heart is led to, which is readings like this, are not appreciated, right? And recently, like, I had a moment where, several moments, where I was very much so rooted in my heart in a way I haven't before. And in that, I realized that my mind is so powerful that it can generate so many different ways to go forward and how to use my gifts, but not all of it is aligned, right? And so the Page of Cups is showing up in this reading. And the Page of Cups speaks of this newfound study, learning through living, what it means to be led by the heart. Because the heart, if it's aligned to the heart, right, then there's no going wrong, and the mind serves the heart, or the mind can serve the heart, right? What is a true passion of yours? And sometimes we don't know what that is because we've followed all of these different trails that lead to all different kinds of places, right? It can be very confusing to your process. So like many of you guys are feeling very confused about, what am I here to do? What is the best path for me? There isn't one answer to that, but there is a lot of alignment, or a lot of options that are in alignment to the heart. And there are much, much more that are not. Much more that are almost synthetic versus authentic, right? What is something that you feel and you've seen in the world that has done well, that you are trying to emulate, or that you think you're following some kind of path, right? They're saying there's some of you guys in the collective right now that are pursuing some kind of path right now. So you gave up a little bit and it's okay. You decided to go back to train in something that is not aligned to the heart, something that's going to make you money, something that's going to give you a level of stability, and that may be fine temporarily, but it's not aligned to the heart. And learning what it means to be aligned to your heart is very new, okay? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because our hearts have been edified and strengthened over a very long time, okay? A dove-headed courtier in a red waistcoat, short black pants, and leggings stands on a red background, holding a goblet decorated with lotus blossoms. Behind him is a window that frames a lake where two swans gently touching heads and in the shape of a heart. The Page of Cups is a gentle soul, childlike and innocent, emotional and nurturing, spiritual and creative. The card suggests the possibilities of romance, creative, and artistic growth. This is bringing me also to like relationships and the incompatibility trauma I've been talking so much about, right? Like what it means to like go with something that looks good on paper, that you know is going to be impressive to people around you, versus something that is not. Something that is more aligned to your heart, something that is less rational, but very much so fiery and full of substance. Something that makes you truly alive, makes you feel present, makes you feel like you're feeling, versus something that feels like it ticks all the boxes, right? There's a world where the logical and the illogical emotions and the emotional alignment, right? There is no reasoning and rationality when it comes to the heart and what the heart yearns for. And so when the heart is aligned to something, especially when it comes to love, and some of you guys are very much so front row center to a love that feels otherworldly, a love that feels like it is placed beyond and above, it's on higher ground to any other love that you've ever experienced or seen. Some of you guys are experiencing this love for yourself. Some of you guys are recognizing the possibilities for this kind of love in your present unions. And then the Hierophant card. As I get old, my best advice is never follow my advice. It's a quote by Antonio Machado. The Hierophant is a noble, commanding raven, dressed in the saffron robe. His clasped hands hold a large and ornate key, whose circular key head is divided into 4 sections and contains smaller circles, suggesting the 4 elements. He stands between 2 pillars covered with writing and images, topped with striped globes, one green and one blue. The room is round, like a church rotunda of a circular temple. The purple wall behind him is inset with a gold circle that gives the Hierophant a halo. He wears a blue crown on his head, patterned with leaves and berries. In ancient Greece, the Hierophants were priests who interpreted esoteric and sacred mysteries. If the high priestess is the keeper of inner traditions, the Hierophant is the keeper of outer traditions. He is known and shown as the raven, a bird associated with wisdom and memory, omens and prophecy, death and rebirth. I feel like the dove, the magpie, all of these birds, right? The meek, the ones who fly above the ground, that are not chained down by the ground, that can seek heights, and you know what I'm trying to say. Each one of these birds is a lifetime within your lifetime. So you've been the magpie. And the magpie, who has been overwhelmed and overcome by fear and by thoughts, by programs, finally dies and becomes the dove. The dove is studying the swans, right? To eventually, hopefully, become a swan and then become ultimately a raven. It's kind of what I'm getting. It's like these are lives within a life, and there's something about not having clear lines between who you've been and who you've been and who you've been and who you are now. There have been many lifetimes within your lifetimes. Can you define a line when these periods of time changed, or like when you've changed, when you went from one version of you to another to another to another to now, right? This will help you. They're saying see the pattern. See the pattern. Why is it important to see the pattern, Spirit? Why is it important to see the pattern? They're saying for relief. For relief. Yeah. Yeah, to realize that you're not as much of a disaster as you think you are. To realize that the sky is not falling and you are not Chicken Little. Let's wrap this up with the Rumi Oracle card. I was going to pull another tarot deck, but I feel very complete in this message. Let me know if you appreciate this form of content, you guys. I very much so would appreciate your validation. Thank you. Okay. I'm pulling from the Rumi Oracle. Merciful Mother Jamal. How beautiful is that card? 44. O sudden resurrection, O countless blessings, O blazing fire in the jungle of thought. Today you arrive with laughter to break open the jail. You, blazing angel, capable of so much, you evoke the testing hand of life. Why not, when you cannot fail? This oracle brings you a message. There is a shift taking place right now in a matter of great importance to you. From Jalal to Jamal. From justice to mercy. This is your path, your destiny, and your blessing. Now opening up before you. Okay, they're saying spring is coming early. Hello. It may be a particular matter, however, it likely includes your entire life orientation. You are being granted refuge, respite, and shelter from the storms of struggle and doubt. And being given a divine sanctuary of safe harbor, you shall find that the unraveling of the struggle and pain now happens through tenderness and gentle approach. You are also being asked to take stock of your own thoughts and attitudes. Having to be tough and play hardball in the past has served its purpose. Yet this oracle comes to you with the guidance to become softer in your way and your attitude. Can you gently but firmly place to one side the judge within, the one who keeps score and demands retribution, an eye for an eye, the exponent of absolute justice? Can you let this go? Can you invite instead the one who gentles the aggressive lord within and allows him to bow before the great lady who loves, is wise, and who steadies the workings of the world with the softest of touches? This oracle brings you the message that the great power of compassion is reaching for you, that it wants to help you, but is waiting for you to ask. So ask, and then you shall receive. Spirit is saying, like, right now you're here. Right now you very much feel like you're here, collective. Right now you feel very much so overwhelmed, very much so like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. You know, very much so like triggered, and Spirit is saying, like, Can you see the evidence of what has been fortified? Can you see the evidence of why there was can you see the value of what you have accumulated in your life and why you've taken the path that you've taken? And can that be enough? Can that be enough? Can that, in combination with your faith, be enough to have you kind of step back from these impulses to want to protect yourself, to want to resist the love, to want to unconsciously resist, right? To be in misalignment to the very blessing that's being made available to you. Right now, it's not just the world and the universe and life that is standing in your way, it's you. It's always kind of been you. But there have been external elements to the fortification process of your life that have made it so that you haven't found it yet. You haven't just found that thing yet. And it's coming, it's here, right? But it requires a submission from you. This oracle brings you the message that the great power of compassion is reaching for you. That it wants to help you, but is waiting for you to ask. So ask. You are also being given the message that your prayers are powerful. Although action in the world is part of your sole purpose and plan, when you pray, have conviction that your prayers are real, are heard, and responded to by the great universal heart. So pray carefully and thoughtfully. Be present and speak as if you are speaking to your dearest, oldest, and most influential, powerful friend. Because, of course, that is exactly what you are doing. Pray from the heart and trust in the power of your prayer. There is no limit to what you can pray about. Nothing too unspiritual or unworthy. Nothing. So pray. Don't fear that if you suddenly give yourself a break, all of your disciplines, hardness, toughness, and sufferings will go to waste. There's almost like this feeling of it's coming, right? And I don't think we're quite ready, or we are ready, but I don't think we're quite aware of the level of resistance that we have to it. We've been calling it in, saying we want it. The reason it hasn't reached us is because we literally haven't been ready. We haven't been ripe. And so we are getting to that point now, but there is an element, distraction, overwhelm, wanting to rile you up, get you going, get you to this place of fear, and get you kind of almost, I'm seeing like a toy that's being twisted around, riled up. I guess we are complete. God bless you guys. Thank you. I'll see you guys in the next one.